If you watch Arlington Independent Media, you've seen his name on plenty of shows as producer. Michael Shea has produced shows like Civics, In Conversation, Housing and Development, Laugh Track, and Policy Matters. But his latest work puts him in the director's chair with a musical thriller, The Landlord. Michael, thanks for being here.
I like the way you delivered that. This time, can you do it again? Maybe act more surprised to see me. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm directing again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's a force of habit.
He's always doing that. No.
Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, man. I can tell this is going to be fun. All right, so, but before we get into your latest, how did you get into film? Because your regular occupation, 9 to 5, has nothing to do with it.
Yes, that is correct. I owe my career, such as it is, to two people, Barry Manilow and Mina Shum.
Really?
Because years ago I heard an interview with Barry Manilow, and he was explaining how he got into singing. And he said, I wrote all these songs and no one would sing them, so I had to become a singer. And I was struck by that because at the time I was writing screenplays, trying to get them produced, trying to be a writer. Right. And I thought, well, that's just music, you know. Film wouldn't be like that. And then I went to a great independent feature by Mina Shum, and she question and answer session after the screening, and she explained, you know, she only got into directing and producing because she was a writer and she realized no one's going to make her stuff. So there she was with this beautiful film and a director's credit and a producing credit. So that's when I realized I needed to get into the game, as it were.
Right. That's incredible. That at first, Barry Manilow, I was like, what? Well, that was a great story.
No, Barry Manilow, you know, very cool guy.
Okay, so obviously here at Arlington Independent Media, you have produced a lot of shows, and we're always joking about how you know you're producing so many more shows than I am, but you know
I think I'm feeling like the heat on my back. I think you're catching up to me.
That's okay. I'm trying. You're here. You're like the mark that I look at. Anyways, enough of that. Right. So what have you learned producing multiple shows? Because obviously you have to organize, you have to reach out to people, you have to do all these things. What are some of the things you've learned in producing?
You're producing successfully and you're producing well when things are happening and you're not doing anything, and you don't know what you're doing, because you put together that team of people and then you've kind of backed out of the way.
So you would suggest create a team.
Yes. Well, before you create the team, know what you want.
Okay.
Have the idea, have the vision, and be flexible about it. But then you've got to create that team.
Wow. So in other words, Michael Shea says that if you are doing your job the way you should be able to back away, and it just kind of happens.
Yeah. And you can almost think, what did I do? I'm not even sure, but it happened, and it was great.
Okay. So
I mean, you're producing this show right now.
I am.
And you probably don't really know what you're doing, so. I'm just
You're not supposed to tell me.
Oh, sorry. All right, Kevin, I blew your secret. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, so what advice do you have for people that want to produce television programs or movies? Because what you just said was amazing. Barry Manilow. Go for
find your Barry Manilow. Find your motivation.
Right.
Your inner Barry Manilow. Start small. Start with something you know you can finish, and learn from it, and keep doing it, and try to do things. Sometimes try to do things quickly, and sometimes take your time and make sure it's good. And the overall goal is always to feel like, okay, maybe nobody saw that, maybe that didn't get picked up by anybody, maybe that got dropped from a film festival, but I felt good about it. And that's the overall goal, to have that pride in your work. That's what you're trying. I think that's the good thing to strive for, I think.
Right.
Because in terms of a career, I don't make any money from this. And in terms of, might be obvious.
Right.
But in terms of career, you know, that takes, anyone who's made it takes luck. It takes being in the right place at the right time and all that. And if you don't have that luck, you want to just feel like, I did something good. The team and we did something well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, one of the things I believe you do is send a thank you card along with, like, the DVD at the end. Oh, yeah. I'm not telling your secret.
No, you're leaving out the most important thing for some programs.
Right. What is that?
A confection, chocolate or something.
Wow.
But that's only for certain programs, I have to admit. It's only certain programs, and then oh no, actually, what I love giving are gift baskets.
Ah.
Yeah, that to me is sort of the secret.
But see, this is the one thing though, Michael. You just said that we're not making any money here. How are you giving away gift baskets?
Well, a lot of times they're re-gift baskets. I mean, that's the whole secret. No, seriously, if you ever get swag, if you ever get anything, not just because you're doing something in entertainment, but just in any sphere of life, the really sort of celebrity thing to do is you always re-gift it. It's always for your people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, and we laugh and we joke, but honestly, I know that definitely leaves an impression on people.
Yes.
And that's very smart because then people want to come back. They want to work with you again.
Yeah.
So we laugh, but seriously, that's an amazing.
It is, but the other thing people think is I have a lot of time on my hands. I mean, particularly when I used to bake the muffins for the gift baskets, and that was just
Oh my
insane.
gosh. Okay, I don't know if I can bake, but okay. So let's move forward. What lessons did you learn that have helped you in terms of preparing for The Landlord? I know
For The Landlord.
You directed
Yeah.
You directed this, but you did not write it, right?
I did not write it,
Okay.
and that's not something I've done a lot. Most things I've directed, I'd also written. Well, I guess the whole thing comes down to making sure each step of the way you've done a good job each step of the process. So you've really worked the script with the writer and the producer and the team and the DP, and you've sort of been over it and you thought about it, and then you get to casting and you make sure you do a good job casting. And we had auditions, and we ended up having 2 rounds of auditions, and we had just amazing people come in because it wasn't just acting. The 2 of the 3 lead parts needed to also sing, so we had that extra level of requirement, and we still got an amazing group of people. We had, I don't know, dozens and dozens of email exchanges after the second round of auditions to settle on somebody because everybody was that good.
Wow.
So that's important, and then get ready for the shoot as much as you can. You're never going to be completely ready, but it is important to do as much as you can ahead of time to feel like we know what's going to happen the first day, we know what's going to happen the second day, and we know what's going to happen the third day. And with a small shoot and with a small film with no budget, that's all you get, or about 3 days, if that. So it's preparation. Yeah.
Wow. So can you just give us a summary? What is The Landlord about?
Okay, so The Landlord is about this guy who rents apartments to women. He only rents them to women. And he's a bit of a, in some cultures they would call him a rascal. And other places they might just call him a real jerk or some other term, which I know it's a family program, so he goes beyond that. That's the thing. So,
wow.
But he comes across one particular tenant who's not what he's expecting. And he is kind of held to account.
Wow.
But there's a demon involved. Power shifts. So we're left with maybe not an ending that the audience is expecting.
That was an incredible summary. I want to see it now.
Oh yeah, I want to see it too. Oh wait, I'm working on it. That's right, I am seeing it.
Yes. Oh man, that's
we're
cool.
editing it right now, so it is in editing. We're at that level of post-production.
Okay, excellent. So I imagine that filming a musical can complicate things, right? So like you said, it added an extra layer. So did the actors lip sync or sing live? And then how did you approach making that all seamless on the set?
Oh, well, I got to say, one of the oddest things about this whole process has been the number of times the people involved have kept making references to Les Mis, as in we're going to be better than Les Mis. And I thought, I haven't seen Les Mis, I have to admit, but it got something like 15 Academy nominations or something ridiculous like that.
Right.
So maybe we are going to be better than Les Mis. I don't know. But the process got a lot easier once we got Andrew Scott Bell, who's a great composer and music director, onto the project. This whole thing started with Mike Thompson, who's the writer, had written some songs, and they were songs that were very strong visually and were songs about very interesting characters. And so he was being pushed by the people that he knows to this should be part of a script. I mean, there's a story here. So he put that together, and that's when he got Vicki Young involved to produce, and that's when they got me involved. So we had the music, we had the musical numbers already. They needed some work. Mike and Andrew have worked on them a lot. And then when we recruited the cast, before we started shooting, we did basically the vocal tracks for the.
Okay.
We have 2 musical numbers in the short. And once we had that, we moved ahead and started shooting the non-musical parts. But we also were thinking, for each of the 2 songs, we need a lot of visual imagery to go with that. Because, like I was saying before, these songs, there's a story within the songs that's very interesting. So we got on set, and we went on location we were shooting in a basement apartment. Mm-hmm. We basically had them perform the songs in both places, and we're going to kind of weave that together. There was, I've never done a musical before.
Right.
I was in a musical in high school, and the only director's notes I kept getting were to sing more quietly, because I just cannot sing. And I was even in the chorus and the ensemble, and I can't dance either. So I was, in the back. But we all agreed, looking at what we had. We had this story taking place in a small basement apartment, and we had a pretty good musical number. Actually, we had 2 musical numbers that were in that small basement apartment. And right away, you have to think, how do we make it a musical? How do we have some spectacle in a small basement apartment? So we tossed out the idea that they would basically be performing the songs in a wide open meadow at night, which made sense to us because we also, there are two references everyone kept making. We kept making references to Les Mis, and we kept making references to Music Land. Because once you're in musical land, it's like things could happen. We could flip over right now and not get woozy. I mean, so we felt very liberated by that. So the performances of the songs are going to probably take place in a very dark and a bit fearful place. But that's what the songs are about, so it made sense to us.
So did you lip sync or did you live sing?
Yeah, well, we're not going to...
Yes.
They did both, depending on what they felt like. But the audio is from the original. It's from the recording studio, which was not even on location or anything.
Okay, I think for Les Mis and
we did not.
Dreamgirls, I think they sang live.
Yeah, no, we didn't do that.
Okay, cool.
People didn't like that.
So what was one of your biggest challenges during the film?
Biggest challenge was, this is a story with a lot of interesting parts and a lot and very suggestive writing. So you get very hungry for visual images, and the toughest part was saying, okay, we have 3 days to shoot, and you can only get so much.
Yeah, that can be tough.
Quinn was amazing as DP because he maximized the time, and the whole team was amazing because we maximized. Here's the time we have. Okay, tons of stuff. So that was great.
Okay. All right. Well, what are you currently working on, and then plans for future films?
The future films, I've got a lot of ideas, and I hope to get a space in time to do some writing. But the most immediate sort of project I have in terms of future ideas is getting a web series started called Almost Funny, which is going to be a reality show based on comics and comic performers. Really? So we would spend the time with them from when they arrive at a venue to perform to right before they go on stage, and we would then pull from that and give people a sense of what they're like in that space when they're getting ready to be funny or they're almost funny, and see what that's all about.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so I've had that idea. I've wanted to do that for a while, but things keep getting in the way, like musicals. But it's been great.
Awesome. Well,
I mean, having to delay projects you want to do because you're doing other good projects, it's not a bad problem.
That's not a bad problem to
It's not a
have.
bad
And it sounds like you're going to be producing forever and ever and ever because you always have ideas and plans.
I'm somewhat older than you, so I tend not to think in terms of forever anymore.
Gotcha.
That really brought it down, didn't it?
That did.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm bringing your show down. I'm just, you're a young guy. You got the whole forever ahead of you. But,
right. Right now you're like, I'm Michael Shea, and I got to get some stuff out
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Before I live forever.
Yeah.
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 Michael, you just ruined the whole thing.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
this is the Landlord is a horror thriller, horror musical, so I gotta try to take it down.
Well, I must say, this has been one of the more fun interviews that
Oh,
I've had. Thank you so much for your time,
Kevin,
for
thank
coming
you.
on the show. I appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you.
All right.